Howdy folks. So today we have one of these Vantec NexStar USB 3.0 hard drive docks. These are pretty popular. I know quite a few people who have one. It was recommended that I buy one of these, and I bought it almost a year ago. And it's excellent. I've had no issues with it. It's very fast. It supports all drives. It's just a SATA connector in there, and you've basically got the 2.5 and the 3.5 doors on the thing. It's a bit large. I mean, you could definitely make this smaller, but it's USB 3.0, and like I said, it's really fast. It basically does what it says, and I thought I'd just take it apart, and I expect there to be basically nothing in this. I mean, it's super light. The only thing that rattles is this little ejector arm here, which you can use to eject the disc, which, I mean, very rarely do you really need to use that, but it's nicer for the 3.5 inch discs. I use that for, but not the smaller ones, especially not SSDs and stuff. You can just pull those straight out. So yeah, I expect there to be basically just a single board, maybe a single chip, nothing else, but we'll find out. So for those of you who want to know, this is the NST D300S3, which is the SATA 1.2 dock. Material, plastic. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, we didn't know that. Anyway. Okay, so that's interesting. So on the bottom we've simply got this lever. Okay, I see how they've done this. So there's just a little spring here, which is hooked onto the lever to the base. Oh my god, that was exactly what I didn't want to have happen. So if I hold that, so basically it can go up. Yeah, this needs the channel to not fall apart, but that's how they're doing the lever for the disc ejection. Very simple. It's just all plastic molded, just kind of snapped together. I mean, it feels robust enough, and I mean that is actually relatively thick plastic for the amount of force you should be putting on this. I mean, and that's actually a pretty decent spring too. So I'm not faulting that design. So this is what's inside, and as I expected, it's just a single board with basically a single chip, and it looks like it's an AS-Media chip. I'll bring you in closer. So we've got two LEDs here, which this is the access strip. So this flashes at a fixed rate when the disc is being accessed. So there's two LEDs and a light pipe for that, and there's obviously another LED which blue illuminates the ring around the power button, and it's on a separate board with an actual plug-in header, which is nice. So let me get this board out so we can take a closer look. Okay, so we'll look at the boring part first. I'm not really going to bother to take this board out because I feel like that's going to be more hassle than it's worth. And if actually, if I can get it out just by bending the plastic, I'll take it out. But yeah, that button is you'd have to be able to push the button to get it through the plastic, and I don't really think it matters. There's nothing on the board. I mean, it's just going to be a toggle switch and this header, and that's it. Yeah, 12/38, 38th week, 2012. read that correctly, which means this thing actually would have been on a shelf for at least a year before I bought it, actually, if that is indeed the date code. So this is our board, which has the Vantec logo on it, actually. Let me just move this down a bit. Yeah, so we actually do have the Vantec logo, which I think is interesting. So they obviously must have either done this in-house or gotten a company to custom do this. It's not like they're rebranding the part. Someone else may rebrand this, though. But at least that's sort of nice to see. Rev A. It's good to know they got this right. A win-win connector for the USB 3.0 with its Pantone 300C blue. Nice that they've gone with a standard color connector, unlike Apple. So the connector has 12 volts, 12 volts out, 3.3 volts ground, hard disk LED, and a no connect. I'm not sure what the difference between 12 volts and 12 volts out is. Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is there. Sorry the lighting is all on one side. I'm going to be getting some proper studio lights at some point, and then that won't be an issue anymore. So we have a couple caps, 16 volt 100 mic, 16 volt 100 mic. They're all 16 volt 100 mic. Obviously they've tried to reduce their BOM by making them all the same. They're made by VLSOM? VLSOM? I've never heard of that before. They're 105 degrees C rated, which I guess is nice. So in terms of chips, obviously this is our SATA controller here, or USB SATA chip. Actually, it would be doing both. It's made by ASMedia. The ASM 1051, and this small chip here, 8-pin. I'm going to need a magnifying glass to read that. That is a PM25LD512 CE1225. And this 8-pin chip here, I can only read part of the part number. It seems that there's part of it's been scratched. R1829, and then I feel like there's another digit, maybe a 4, but yeah, it's been not deliberately scratched. They haven't tried to obfuscate that part number, but just like the chip has been damaged on the top or something like that. So obviously this is going to be a 3.3 volt LDO. I don't even need to check the part number on that. Oh, it's a 117. There's an unpopulated package here, U5, as well as a spot for what looks like another regulator here. They're running that at 20 megahertz, by the way. And there's another unpopulated footprint. There's actually quite a bit of unpopulated stuff here, so possibly, I'm not sure what they would be doing. I mean, it would require more power, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know what they would have done there, because these pads here go to the SATA data connector through to this chip, so it's possible. I mean, I have no idea. They have a different model that uses a different chip that's doesn't have the same capabilities, not pin compatible. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what I expected to see. It's kind of unfortunate they charge like $40-50 for this, but I mean, it works. One of the things I was worried about, one of the things I wanted to see was how they were trying to protect the board against this connector, because of course when it's sitting there and you shove a drive down, I mean, you try to be as careful as possible, but you're going to end up putting a lot of force on this connector because if the drive isn't perfectly aligned, it's going to kind of force its way in. And I wanted to see if how they were bracing this connector so that the board didn't flex. And it's not a super thin, flimsy ass board, which is, I mean, it's good to see, but the board appears that it will brunt the full force of that, because when this is sitting in the base, it's just held up like this, right? There's nothing on the bottom to brace the bottom of this. So yeah, I wouldn't force drives into this just because there's nothing underneath this. That's what I would have liked to have seen, is just some plastic bar or something that would come up here and just help that a little bit. But I mean, it seems to be reliable, at least from my use. But I try to be gentle with my equipment. So anyway, that was what was inside this. There's nothing else in there. So yeah, hopefully that was a little bit interesting. Thanks for watching.